mum, get a blanket. Oh my god, guys, I just realized that's another whole different chat that we need to have. Hey guys, welcome back. It is good to see you guys. Welcome back to episode 4 of the quarantine series. That is pretty insane that there's already been 3 episodes and 3 weeks of quarantine. We're over the halfway mark now, which is probably the hardest bit, I think, and it has been really, really good. You guys have been loving the episodes. We've been loving filming them, but this week's going to be a little bit different. We're going to slow it down a little bit. The last 3 episodes have been really productive, really active, really motivating, just really giving you guys some ideas about things and keep you stimulated during quarantine so you're not feeling so boxed in and so restricted. But this week, I'm feeling it a little bit, Amy's feeling it a little bit, I think you guys might be feeling it a little bit as well. We're just slowing down. So I thought for this episode, we'll just take it down a notch. We're going to do a really chill, just come and cook with me vlog. Like the other episodes, if you want to put this on while you're doing some cooking, that's super fun. And tag me in your Instagram stories of you guys doing that, because I love seeing what you guys are doing while watching my vlogs. But otherwise, if you're not up for it today, this is the perfect vlog for you guys to just grab some biscuits, grab a cup of tea, get your mum, get a blanket, and sit down and relax. I'm gonna be cooking 2 different things today. I'm gonna start off with something sweet so that can cool down while we make our second one, which is a really fresh, savory dish that I'm gonna have for lunch today. Both recipes are by Epic Cooks. The chocolate chip cookies that we're gonna be baking is Amy's Nan's recipe, and let me tell you, she is a good cook. And then the savory lunch recipe is actually Jamie Oliver's recipe. I'm not as good as him, and so I've tweaked the recipe a little bit. I leave some things out, I put some things in. This one is just gonna make you feel good, feed your soul, and the savory one's actually gonna make your body feel good. It's healthy, it's light, it's fresh, and it's something really good and easy if you guys are lacking some inspiration in the cooking department. So let's get started. I have everything here, including the recipe for the chocolate chip cookies. Okay, so I've got my oven preheating to 180 degrees already. Now I need to start measuring out these things. It says I need to measure 125 grams of butter, but I've just got like a tub of butter, so I'm just gonna guess how much that is. Let's go with that. So I don't know about you guys, but this week we haven't been feeling bad or anything, you know, during quarantine, but we've just noticed maybe a shift in our attitudes towards it, I guess. I was talking to Amy the other night. When she came home from work, she was exhausted, and it wasn't an overly busy day at work, it wasn't an overly hard day. She just came home and she was absolutely exhausted, and so we just had a chat about, you know, what she felt like was making her so tired. Because of our job, it's really important to check in when you do feel like you come home and you've had a hard day. It's important to have those chats and make sure you do check in and make sure there is just maybe tiredness or exhaustion and nothing else going on, because then that's another whole different chat that we need to have. But we started talking about the mental load it has been during quarantine. And what I mean by mental load is there's like a capacity that everyone has about how much stuff that they can take on, right? It's like your mental capacity, how much you can have, you know? And because of COVID, let me just check I'm doing this right. That takes up space in that mental capacity that you have that normally isn't taken up because you're not normally in a pandemic, right? And so your everyday tasks that usually only take up this much of your capacity, now it's already taken up this much by COVID, and so you're almost at the reach of it. So if anything extra tends to happen, or even it might not be anything extra, it might just be those 2 things, your everyday stuff and COVID and quarantine and lockdown all going on. That's enough for you to feel exhausted mentally, you know? And I've been seeing some really positive attitudes towards lockdown. I think I just got some shell, but I don't know. It's fine. One thing I did want to talk to you guys about, like hear from you guys about how you guys are going with this, is how your relationships are going. Because I feel like there has never been more pressure on couples and families and people in relationships than there is right now locking down with it. And Amy and I are so grateful for so many reasons that we still have a job, that we can go to and work our regular hours, not just so we can get some space from each other, because otherwise we're with each other 24/7. And I'm telling you, we drive each other crazy. Our first ever episode of the quarantine series was us doing a relationship question game, and Amy found it and she thought it would be a really good idea for us to just open up some lines of communication, make sure we're checking in with each other. And I've got some awesome feedback from you guys, that a few of you guys have actually even gone out and bought the book, which is incredible. I'm so glad you guys liked it that much. But I'm not going to sugarcoat everything, and I don't want it to make it seem like I'm super perfect and my relationship is perfect, because it's not. I really like just the white chocolate chip cookies. Amy likes both white chocolate and milk chocolate, so it's like extra chocolatey chippy. So back to what we were talking about. Amy and I got into a bit of an argument last night. We just found it really difficult to communicate. We were both maybe a little bit overtired, a little bit overworked as well, and we were just not communicating, not understanding, probably getting a little bit too angry with each other. Anyway, this morning when we woke up, we said sorry and we're all fine now. But I think it's understandable to just maybe be a little bit realistic about your relationships and how much kind of pressure they're on right now. It's like, feels like a pressure cooker because you're literally stuck with them. Not that that's a bad thing, I love you, Amy, but you guys, you get it. So one of the things that I'm actually very happy about is my exercise routine. I think I've spoken to a few of you guys on Instagram about it. If you guys aren't following me, go there, because there's so much more extra content and like behind the scenes stuff. My exercise routine in this quarantine is so much more consistent, honestly. Like, I have been getting up and going for walks, which I never like to do. Walking was never a good form of exercise for me. I didn't find it a very good outlet. I always got bored. I just didn't enjoy it. And I have gone on a walk pretty much every single day. And like, I've been like working up a sweat, which is also not something I do very often either. And on top of it, on days where I felt like the weather wasn't great or I just wasn't in the mood to go for a walk, I have been using MadFit's videos from YouTube. So she is a lovely lady, and she does a lot of different things, but she does some really good like functional workouts. So like no equipment needed, body weight only, really fun, easy ones. She even does these dance workouts, which are hella fun. They're really awesome. And so I've been just doing a few of those videos. There's like 15-minute ones, 30-minute ones. And I know one of the massive difficulties in quarantine is finding the motivation to get up and work out. I do understand. So I'm just very grateful that I actually have the motivation at the moment. And while I've got it, I'm gonna run with it. All right, these are my cookies. Let me come show you. Look how cute they are. So these are my ones. I'm gonna quickly put them in the oven now, and then I'll mix up Amy's ones, and then we'll get them in the oven. Guys, look at the cookies. They turned out so good. She likes her cookies like crunchy cookies, which is absolutely the wrong way to eat them. I like mine really like soft and chewy and gooey. So I tried to leave hers in the oven for like 5 minutes longer just to crispen up the edges a little bit. Okay, so this one's gonna be a little bit more complicated than the first one. I'm gonna blitz up all of these ingredients in my NutriBullet to make this satay sauce, right? So the fun story about this recipe, actually, it's a bit of a sad story, but it has a happy ending. So back in 2009, my parents were not getting along very well, and they decided to get a divorce. And at the time, both my parents were working. When they got divorced, I was shared custody between both my parents. I would have 1 week at my mum's and 1 week at my dad's. And when my dad moved out eventually and got his own place, realized that he didn't know how to cook. Like, he knew a few touch and go recipes, just some really basic everyday kind of stuff. And so when I came to stay, he was really struggling trying to come up with recipes and things for dinners and breakfast to cook, because he just didn't know how to do it. I'm just peeling some ginger and chopping this up. One day I came over and he said, all right, we need to learn how to cook, because I didn't really know how to cook either. So we went to the local shopping center and he said, let's go to the recipe section of the bookstore and pick any recipe book. Just pick the one that you like. So I did. I picked a Donna Hay book. And looking back at it now knowing what I know, it was a bit too bougie for us, honestly, a Donna Hay book, but at the time I didn't know that, and her recipes looked really delicious. So we bought the book and we walked out to Target, that's where we bought it from, and we opened it and he said, let's pick a recipe, any one you want, and we'll go to the supermarket right now and we'll buy everything that the recipe says and we'll just make it. And so we did just that. We made a recipe, and every time I came over to his, we would pick a new recipe and go to the shops and buy everything that the recipe said, and eventually eventually we really started getting good at it. We bought some more recipe books. We started watching some cooking shows. We learned about the kind of foods that we liked, what was healthy foods, what was maybe not so healthy foods. And then we started being able to not have to use a recipe book. We knew some of these things by heart, and we knew what flavors tasted good. And eventually we became really good at it, that we didn't need a cookbook anymore. But one of the ones that we bought was the 30-minute Jamie Oliver one, because the kind of food that Jamie Oliver cooks is the kind of food that I really like. And so this was one of the recipes, and it's always just stuck with me that I really, really liked it. It's super easy and flavorful, and it always makes me feel good after eating it. I feel full, but like full of nutrients, not full in a bad kind of way. So that's really the story of how me and my dad learned to cook in the first place. Oh my god, guys, I just realized I haven't even told you what we're cooking. So over here I've got some just like cos lettuce leaves that I've just cut off at the bottom and pulled them apart. They're just washed and drying in the sink. We are making homemade sauteed chicken in lettuce cups with this like spicy, salty, sour, delicious dressing on noodles that sits in the lettuce cup. It is so good. So that's what we're doing right now. Fun fact, I actually got this lemon from our backyard. Okay, the final thing to go in is the peanut butter. I'm not sure if I've mentioned it, but I've become very obsessed with the show The Bachelor. I've been watching the American one online. I've been watching Hannah B's season. If you guys like The Bachelor as well, please let me know in the comments down below, and I will find you and add you on Instagram. Not in a creepy way, I don't mean that. So we can chat while The Bachelor airs, because I have become obsessed with this show. But I'm also like super into those other cringy shows. I know that they're cringy, guys. You don't have to let me know in the comments. I know, but it's just some lighthearted, like fun TV to watch. Okay guys, we're on the home stretch. We're nearly there. While the chicken's cooking in the oven, I'm gonna try and tidy up the kitchen a little bit because I've made a bit of a mess, and then we'll come back and we'll see the final dish. Okay, the chicken is still cooking because it's taking forever for some reason, but the cookies have cooled down now and they look perfect. I wanna show you guys like how soft they are, but could you guys see that? Oh, let's try it. The chocolate bits, oh, are so good. I'm gonna eat that whole tray before Amy even gets home. Guys, the chicken is finally cooked. So I've got a little bit here on my plate, and now I'm just gonna kind of build it all inside this lettuce leaf. Oh, it's very messy, guys. That is so good. There's so much flavor in that, and it's so good. Oh my gosh. Alright guys, if you guys like this episode, then let me know in the comments. Follow me on Instagram and you guys can chat to me so much more there. I always tell you guys that there's more content over there as well. You get to see a little bit more behind the scenes, a bit more of me. But if you did like the video, give it a like. If you want to join the family, subscribe, because we would love to have you. And we'll see you on Sunday after I've devoured all of these for our regular vlogs. Bye guys.